If you like what you see, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Last time. After some debate, the intrepid inmates came to a decision of what to do after their sudden shock. As a preventative measure, Peter decided that he would go back to the cafeteria and bolster their defenses, taking Tiger along in the process. Their trip was safe, but unnerving, especially when they came across Bella and Nota talking to something they could not quite see. They put it out of their minds, though, as they didn't quite understand it. When they got to the cafeteria, though, they found Jennifer, the police officer who sided with Warden Ray. She offered an alliance, but Peter and Tiger turned her down. In response, she attacked. What happens next? Well, now you can find out. Sleepwalkers of Night Realm. Written and read by storyteller B.J. Foltz. Chapter 11. Didn't even read us our Miranda rights. Whatever I was expecting from Jennifer, it certainly wasn't that. She began swinging her nightstick the moment she was in range. It was so sudden that I didn't even bring up my bat to defend. So I got hit in the gut with a weapon, winding me and sending me to the ground. Through my agony, I heard Tiger loading his pistol while growling, "There! You just gave me a reason, Popo!" "A gun in your hand, and you think that you suddenly have the upper hand, inmate?" Jennifer asked. "All things considered, girlie, yeah, I think I do," Tiger said. "And I'm not even showing what I..." Right next to Jennifer, there was this weird shimmering like air on a very hot day. And immediately, a ghostly police officer was formed. It charged forward and slammed its fist into Tiger, taking him off his feet. Jennifer looked back at me as more and more ghosts appeared, circling and beating on Tiger. You, I said, getting to my feet, using my bat to help myself up. "This is what power looks like, inmate," she said. "And it's called send reinforcements. I can make more officers appear to fight chaos and bring down those who threaten order. But you, I think I'll deal with you personally." I didn't even have time to react. She just began hitting me with her nightstick. I never met Jennifer before, but I never expected her to be wearing a look of almost savage glee on her face. "You prisoners are all the same. You think you're so strong, repeating that you're innocent. But no, none of you are. My father, he said he was innocent when he was thrown in jail for what he did to my mother and me," she snarled, hitting me with her nightstick every other sentence. "That's why I became an officer, so trash like you could never see the light of day again. I thought I buried all that, but then this happened. I'm a child again, but now I have the power, and you will never, never, never..." Tiger let out a fierce yell. With a sudden burst of light, he turned into the massive Tiger, lashing out with his claws and teeth, dispelling the attacking police officers. Jennifer looked over in shock. "What? You?" she shouted incredulously. That's when I realized, if we didn't know she had a dream piece, then she wouldn't know that we had them either. And this moment gave me enough of an opening to counter. "Draw!" I shouted when she raised her stick, and I pulled clubs. A chunk of rock flew out and hit her leg. She yelled as she suddenly collapsed, glaring at me as I stood up. Suddenly, things were turning in our favor. "So, officer, think you can tangle with an inmate on an even footing?" I asked. "You filthy lowlives," she snarled, glaring at me as Tiger ran at her. His mouth was full of razor-sharp teeth, and opened wide to rip her to shreds. Jennifer held up her hand as more ghostly police officers appeared, holding Tiger in place before tossing him aside. She shot me a death glare, and then growled. "I'm putting you in the darkest cell I can find, and throwing away the key, inmate!" She tossed her nightstick aside and pulled out a pistol and a set of handcuffs. I readied my bat and charged. She fired her gun, the bullets flying past me before I swung my bat at her. She ducked and slammed the handcuffs into my face. I brought my bat down, hitting her arm. The two of us recoiled and looked at each other. Her back was to the doorway, and I could hear Tiger struggling free. Draw! I shouted as she began summoning more police ghosts. I got a diamond as I swung my bat. With that, I swatted a burst of wind at her. Jennifer covered her face and skidded back a bit, but didn't really react to that attack. And then I realized what my move did. The glass of the doors and windows shattered. Immediately, I knew what that entailed. The doors and the windows had been keeping the sleepwalkers out. And then they made me their chief. I don't want to go to school. If this doesn't fix it. Is it wrong for a man to cheat in order to win? The mumbling from outside made it perfectly clear what would happen next, and what would happen immediately after. The sleepwalkers noticed what had happened and began crawling through the windows, trudging towards the first person they could find. Jennifer. She wheeled around and began summoning more police officers. Stay back! Back! The moment she used her powers, though, the sleepwalkers shifted into nightmares. Their incoherent murmuring was replaced by clear declarations of how delicious dream pieces were and how tasty we were going to be. Now they began to double their efforts. Jennifer began redirecting the ghost officers from Tiger and toward the oncoming sleepwalkers as they converted into nightmares. Tiger shifted back to normal and grabbed my shoulder. We gotta run, Pete! I had just been standing there, staring at them. The nightmares were almost pouring in now. If we had the rest of the group, we could have taken these. But just the three of us? Jennifer! You can't take them! Come with us! I shouted. Shut up, inmate! She screamed, wheeling around to glare at me with her single eye. The moment she took her eyes off the nightmares, her police ghosts vanished. Then the nightmares began piling onto her. Tiger and I bolted, just as she screamed. We slammed the cafeteria doors shut. A lucky draw on my part meant that we barricaded it with boulders. The two of us panted, hearing as the struggle slowly ended in silence. Wish I'd have busted a cap in that girl's butt before they... Tiger panted, but stopped when he saw me. I must have looked like a ghost to the guy, because he immediately stopped. My breath had become ragged panting, and I felt sweat dripping down my forehead. I mean, Jennifer seemed like the worst sort of police officer. But, no, I didn't see that, I said to myself. She's not dead. I mean, we didn't see anything. Tiger, thankfully, just said, yeah, not a thing. She's gonna be just fine. Now then. With that, Tiger gave me a shoulder before helping me walk away. Nothing else happened on our way back. When we got to the library, we saw Trisha scribbling on stray pieces of paper. Mia came to greet us just as I sat down, while Tiger began looking over his arms for any wounds. I guess she told us what was going on, but I didn't comprehend anything. Everything was just a haze. I felt shell-shocked, a ringing in my ears. Peter? Peter? I snapped back to attention and saw Wendy, Mikey, Alex, and Candace. When did they get back? How long was I out of it? I'm sorry, I said. We've lost the cafeteria. Stuff happened, and now sleepwalkers are all over that. How? Wendy asked. I caught myself. In the last 2 days, I had seen too much. Too much death. More than I had ever wanted to see. Maybe you should rest, Peter, Wendy said, touching my arm. You seem feverish. We've got the medical wing. If it's serious, we should be fine. Yeah, thanks, I said as I sat next to a bookshelf. The moment I did, there was a sudden puff of black clouds. Suddenly there was the door to the pocket dimension. Bella's pocket dimension. I guess that meant she knew the cafeteria was lost. While the others looked on in shock, I just shut my eyes. The most I could hope was that my dreams would be some escape from everything. Ground has been lost. Things have taken a turn for the worse. And what implications could this have for the inmates in this new dark world? Find out on Chapter 12 of Sleepwalkers of Night Realm. Special thanks to artist V. Sasha for the poster. Link to her DeviantArt page in the description below.